the first to know. Nsem-Pii TV.
And the Ghana Police Service at the Kwame Baako Abronye ekokopie mu ewo court ni nyina invitation a one edema Kwame Baako Abronye say one ehia no ewo CID headquarters about video bi a Kwame Baako Abronye ekokoye during Akwatia by election no na one say we didi IGP atem nti omra mepie mu ewo ho okopie mu ho na one arrest no officially ene one ede no kokopie mu ewo court no ede to just say yemfa Kwame Baako Abronye enkonkoshem 12 ni esan ede na aba court na hwe say obe grant no bail na nipa bebre ahyase kasa editia say since when ena edidi atem eba be criminal any nipa dodo a won etimi edidi na Akufo-Addo atem up to now ya nchi obi a NDC journalist Bobie Ansa akasa ede etia Oliver Baker Vemawo enso akasa de etia enom ne other NDC folks ni bi now de yemko
repealed the criminal libel law. Criminal libel law was repealed so that you cannot be criminalized for saying something. Criminalizing speech was inimical to the progress of democracy. Abronye Kwame Baako is being put in police cells and denied bail because of something he said. He is reported to have said that the Inspector General of Police, the Honorable Christian Tete Yohonu, COP Christian Tete Yohonu, the Inspector General of Police, he alleged that the Inspector General of Police is corrupt in one of the broadcasts that he does. In view of this matter and other things that he's reported to have said, Abbron DC is being charged with an offense which is said to be by his lawyers a misdemeanor. And for that reason, he is kept in cells. Everyone on social media, including NDC people, are unhappy about that. Everyone thinks that it is not important to arrest somebody because of something he said. How many times did our friends and brothers, like Captain Smart, not say, Akufo-Addo, oh yeah, Kronfo? Nobody arrested them because Akufo-Addo shouldn't arrest them for saying that he's a Kronfo. If at all, he should sue them. The other day, a newspaper publication said that Akufo-Addo's brother, he has been using the presidential jet. What did Akufo-Addo's brother do? He went to the civil court, took out a writ of defamation, and he sued them. I don't even know whether the matter is ended. That's how we build a democratic society. Because criminalizing speech is the first and major antidote for the growth of democracy. And all of these people that we eulogize, Kwesi Pratt Jr., who is launching his book today, he's finished launching by now, Kwaku Jr., who attended the event graciously, Nyao Tamaklo, who was at the event, Nana Adodankwa Akufo-Addo, former president, who else was in the fight, Ben Efson, Cabral Bleami here, all of these people went into a fight with government so that speech will not be criminalized. So that journalism, blogism, if there's something like that, publication, Facebookism can be done and people can sue. I saw my brother Bobie answer comment about it in a way that was very interesting. I'd like to show you the video. Have a look.
Now, what I'm hearing, almost say the arrest is based on the fact that or say IGP is corrupt. I think okay, so can be so far a remonacha yoko. So when I make us a misremo minima semnimu and still you're finding out me position on this matter. And you see, I believe in principles. My position on this matter. Say, dear me mateno, yes, then I think Abronye arrest is needless. Dear me mateno, ebia, now there is something beyond. Dear, but if only the issue is about the waka afa IGP one. IGP, I mean, he's an individual. He's a person. If it's about IGP, we are corrupt. IGP can go to court. And IGP doing court. He can go to court for defamation. I don't think say a criminal. And you're criminal. These are some of the things. But I mean, the entire raise here, ɛyɛ na ɛyɛ supporters no enemy followers ɛyɛ na bebree bu afu because they feel say bobie ɔmo de bi yɛ o indi say ɔmo de bi ɛyɛ MPP ni bi a kama tum yes ɔmo de bi yɛ me feel say it's wrong that heavy PDB me feel say it's wrong no that is I still insist say it's wrong. Me my pencil, it was wrong, and today I come and defend it, say, and then you're right. The reason why I make say wrong is because I went through the same process and it was wrong. So if say you're wrong now, I don't see how I can justify it today, say, and then you're right. I mean.
That was Bobby Ansah, who is, he calls himself an NDC foot soldier. Oliver Vomaho, one of the human rights activists, put it on his Facebook page that he doesn't even understand why they are doing that. There's so much conflict. Check social media. There's conflict in the north. Police are needed everywhere. And the police machinery is used to arrest and have Abronye in cells to teach him a lesson that he said that the IGP, he alleged that the IGP was corrupt. The Inspector General of Police. So if a person is Inspector General of Police and something is said about him, he should use the police machinery because he has authority to arrest those people. Whilst the Parliament of 2001, when they were repealing the criminal libel law, I was looking for it today, it just took a bit long. Thursday, I'll bring it. I'll bring the memorandum that went to Parliament. The philosophy behind why Parliament voted en bloc unanimously, the whole Parliament, NDC, MPP, voted unanimously that this issue of criminalizing speech is something that should be banished to our history. Now, 2025, 24 years after 2001, 24 years after 2001, we are back at the same place, dealing and battling with criminal libel under a different guise of causing fear and panic. There's some regulation like that. I remember that the people at, what are they called? Where Manasseh used to work, Suleiman Brame's people, Kwame Kaikai, Fourth Estate and Media Foundation, them. West Africa, they were saying that also has to be repealed because governments can apply it. The other day, Kandapa arrested some journalists. You remember that? He arrested them. They had published something and something about presidential jet. And he arrested them. There was a lot of hue and outcry from everywhere. And in that conversation, they said that this should be. Abbron DC sits in his place as regional chairman of the New Patriotic Party. Sits in his place at Sunyani. He's opened a podcast. He attacks MPP people, NDC people. On occasion, I have had occasion to call him to talk about the Duncan Williams situation, and he had explained, and we spoke about it, and the matter died. If he says something, the libel courts are there, especially given what everyone is really quiet about on social media, but we have all seen it. We have seen people who have said worse things, who have been given national security protection in this country. They have said worse things about people, not just about IGP, but about chiefs, about pastors, about everyone. And they have been given national security protection. And then we have Abronye say something about IGP. And then they arrest him and they keep him there till Friday, 12 September. That's when he's going to reappear in court. And it's a complaint by whom? I'm not even sure. Maybe his lawyers will come in, they'll come and tell us. A complaint by whom? Is it a complaint by the Honorable COP, Christian Tatayoonu, the Inspector General of Police? Is he the complainant in the matter? Is another person the complainant in the matter? What is the foundation of the complaint? That Abronye had said something against him, something he has said, and it's criminal? I don't get it. Let's go to the touch screen and see what the minority in Parliament wrote about this matter. It's a very difficult and concerning matter, given that most of the youth are, because everyone wants their party to win election. Yes, that's correct. If I'm MPP, I want MPP to win election. If somebody's NDC, they want NDC to win election. There's no problem about that. But we don't want a society that is funny. We don't want a society. That's why when you go on social media, whether NDC or MPP, you find everybody says, what's this Abronye arrest about? What is it? What is it about? The other day here in Metro TV, during the election, during our program, Good Morning Ghana, some guy who was an auctioneer came with police. It was mistaken to be a police action on the program. You remember remember the outrage from both MPP and NDC. We don't want these things in Ghana because we have long gone past it. We have been told by our forebears that they have fought the battle and removed the criminal libel law. Kwaku, Baako, and others. They removed the criminal libel law in Parliament in 2001. 24 years later, we have to be having this conversation in Ghana, Africa's finest democracy, Africa's best democracy. For 35 years, we have had uninterrupted changing elections. From in 2000, Ghana was celebrated as the African country since the end of the Second World War that has been able to change government peacefully. Ghana was celebrated 25 years ago that we are the country that has been able to change peacefully. Since then, we have done it in 2008, we have done it in 2016, we have done it in 2024. And in 2025, we have to be thinking about whether there's criminal libel or not. People have to be concerned about what they say. 9 September 2025, for immediate release, statements by the Minority Caucus on remand of Kwame Bafo, Abronye DC, and the growing culture of political persecution and abuse of power. The Minority Caucus expresses grave concern over the arrest and remand of Kwame Bafo Abronye, popularly known as Abronye DC, the Bono regional chairman of the New Patriotic Party. Mr. Bafo was arraigned before the Accra Circuit Court today and remanded into police custody until Friday, 12 September 2025, on 2 charges of alleged offensive conduct conducive to a breach of the peace. The circumstances surrounding Abronye DC's arrest and detention reveal a disturbing pattern. The government is increasingly weaponizing the judicial accountable without fear of persecution. Meanwhile, government's neglect of urgent national crisis is glaring. In the northern region of Ghana, communal violence has claimed at least 31 lives and displaced nearly 50,000 people, with more than 13,000 forced to seek refuge in Côte d'Ivoire. This is not just a local tragedy, it is a regional humanitarian emergency that shames our nation. That citizens must cross international borders to find safety is an indictment of a government that has abandoned its basic duty to protect its people. Our northern compatriots deserve urgent attention, not the neglect and indifference that have characterized the state's response so far. Political witch hunts cannot be used as smokescreen to deflect attention from this humanitarian disaster. We also draw attention to an alarming escalation of threats against political leaders, including the minority leader, Honorable Osahene Alexander Afenyo Markin, our Chief Whip, Honorable Frank Anodompre, and our national organizer, Mr. Henry Nana Boakye Nanabi. Reports of assassination plots issued openly by NDC executives and their associates while authorities look away signal a dangerous deterioration of democratic tolerance. This climate of intimidation is not a partisan issue. It is an assault on democracy itself. Such threats violate international democratic norms and cannot be dismissed as mere local politics. They demand immediate, serious investigation. The Ghana Police Service must rise above partisanship, abandon its current posture as a tool of the ruling party, and guarantee protection for all political actors regardless of affiliation. The Minority Caucus reiterates that this government has abandoned its constitutional obligation, choosing instead the path of authoritarian consolidation, judicial persecution, executive overreach, economic manipulation, and security failures have converged into a perfect storm that endangers both democracy and development in Ghana. We remain resolute in our commitment to uphold the rule of law, protect human rights, and restore public trust in our democratic institutions. Ghana's democracy is too precious to be surrendered to fear, intimidation, and authoritarian excesses. It's signed by Jerry Shaibu Ahmed. He's the second deputy minority whip. He's also the MP for Weja Bawe constituency. Now, this is the video that they refer to, where a young man who obviously belongs to the NDC, I believe it was during the Akwitia by-election, goes out there and threatens names of people, boldly speaking to media. He's not worried that if you carry out such threats publicly, you may be apprehended by the police and you may be asked not to go within a certain distance of the people that you are threatening, etc., etc. All of those laws which are alive in other democracies are not here, or he believes that nothing will happen to him based on the color of his party. I'm not sure why. I'm not so sure why, but here he is.
Another prayer, Nana B, Umudiagra, Wallahi, Umbewu, Mitonya Kupon, make Kabi Paposa from Afana Markin, another prayer, Nana B, Umunia Show Mobile as we another prayer, Nana B, Umudiagra, Wallahi, Umbewu, Mitonya Kupon, make Kabi Paposa from Afana Markin, another prayer, Nana B, Umunia Show Mobile as
It may be empty threats, but what kind of environment in a democracy allows an individual speaking to journalists in the open, in the plain, to say that these persons, if they joke, they will die, and it's okay? Nobody asking me any question. A certain environment should be created in the future, in the near future, where when we go out for political events, people are not able to threaten people that way. I don't even remember that happening recently. We had a brutal, feisty election in 2024. We had a brutal election in 2016. We had a brutal election in 2020 during COVID. I don't remember these things happening. I don't remember them happening. That people can go onto the mic, say, Lord Comey, go onto the mic and say that Samuel Kujeto Ablakwa, Sam George. We didn't have even voting rights at the time. The people who fought for the 1992 Constitution were fighting for it. So if we started having voting rights from 2000 election or 2004, that democracy has been bequeathed to us. But the actors are still around and books have been written. We have read it. And we know what has happened in Parliament. And we were to assume that they will die is if they do the. You can say what you want to say, especially in the circumstance where nobody wants to say it. Because we have been in this country and people who have said worse things have come into the country and have obtained national security protection. As a result of the things they themselves knew that they have said, they have organized national security protection for people who have said worse things. But Abronye DC, because of his political color, because he touched on somebody who is in power's nerve or something, the Inspector General of Police is very concerned that Abronye DC says that, alleges that he's corrupt. Shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Now I hear there's a demonstration coming up, and they call it this one. It's coming up. I understand that tomorrow they are holding a press conference, and they are going to pour themselves out onto the street. Because you see, if you look at election results, the candidates of the both parties, they both got more than 1 million votes. Both candidates can throw up 200,000 people on the street, and that would be chaotic in Accra. They can throw 200,000 people on the street. Because when people are frustrated in this manner, they have nothing to do but to go on the street. So they say, Chiyem Preku, catch, arrest all of us once and for all. They say it's coming soon. Apparently, they are writing to the police for permission to demonstrate because they are tired. Fancy comedy. Then he is arrested. Then somebody there is arrested. Abronye D is arrested. Why? Is that the democracy? When power changes hands, we should go deeper into some of these ugly things so that we don't push our democracy forward. Every epoch should see an advancement of the democracy. 1992 to 1996 saw an advancement of it. 96 to 2000 saw a further advancement in it. 2000, 2004, we moved further. Up to 2008, we moved further. We are now beginning to take our elections for granted. Those days, Kwesi Pratt used to be concerned about the peace industry. In 2012, he was worried that anytime you're having elections, you have people say peace, oh, peace, oh. We are now getting, except some of the ugly events of the post-2024 voting, we are really getting to the point where we can take the election for granted. We'll vote and sleep and wake up and somebody will win and we move on. That's where we are getting to. And now these things, I don't think it's great. Permit me now to introduce the program. Later tonight, we have 10 questions.